Watch KSTV weeknights at 7:30 and 11 Eastern, and anytime with Inside On Demand on Channel 103.
We're happy to have Stan Norfleet, our football expert, KSTV Casting Call winner, back in studio. Finish out the offense tonight, Stan. We'll start at the sexiest position, at the quarterback.
Oh, yes, those guys.
Joker named, of course, Max Smith the starter. You, though, I think Morgan Newton might be the better of the two quarterbacks. Is that correct?
I've been very vocal about that over the airwaves. I think when healthy, Morgan Newton's production, and people will tell me, are you crazy? But yeah, he accounted for 10 touchdowns last year. His mobile component to his game gives another dimension that Max has not shown us he has. Morgan has also shown us that he can go into other SEC dens and bring a win back. Now, people will say, oh, but that was really Randall Cobb. Well, you can only play with what you got out there. The bottom line is Morgan was under center. Morgan was the one leading them. Morgan played very well in the U of L game last season. Morgan responded to their touchdown. So Bridgewater comes down, he scores. Morgan goes back, scores. Bridgewater comes back and scores. And Morgan was about that close from responding to that. I haven't seen that from Maxwell. So I'm looking forward to him proving to me that he has the intestinal fortitude to grab the bull by the horns when it's not convenient and lead him to a victory.
Do you think Max Smith will end the season as a starting quarterback? You think Morgan will get that job?
Barring injury, I think Max is going to get pulled.
Really?
I do. I think Morgan is going to get healthier. And I think UK is going to find themselves in some games that are winnable, that when it's late, coach is going to defer to what he knows, and he knows what Morgan can do in those situations.
Is that good for a team? Or is it better to start, even if Morgan's not healthy, if Joker Phillips thinks he's the best quarterback, even to start, if he's not 100%, say he's 85%, just to start the year with him? Or, I mean, isn't there something that happens when you change a quarterback in the middle of the season?
You never like to see it. It's never a good thing. And I struggle when I say never because I think about Tim Tebow and Chris Leak, and that worked out okay.
Yeah.
But it's rarely a good thing. I think you really want the guy, because the team has got to feel you. What people don't understand is the quarterback is just not affecting the offense. The defense, after we break the huddle or after we break the huddle on the sideline, we're watching to see, is the leader going to lead us? We want to know, is he going to deliver? And the team did respond last year to Max differently than they responded to Morgan. There was a little more zest. I don't know if Morgan was feeling the pressure, but maybe by Morgan being demoted, he will now be at ease, and the team will feel that comfort. He's a senior now. He knows that this is it for him. I don't know, but I just think that I think that Morgan gives him the better chance to win healthy.
That's interesting. Not a lot of people have said that's something to watch for sure. The running back position was another area where they named a starter. Coach Williams is going to be the guy. Josh Clemens maybe going to redshirt, injured right now. You're a big fan of Coach Williams, right?
I like Coach a lot. Love the story. Have been around that young man a couple times now. Love the passion. See, there are football players, and then there are guys that just like football. Coach Sheika's a football player. I mean, it's on his mind every day, all day. A little biased because he's from Bama. I've been down there a little bit. So I just love the passion and the courage to walk on and to stare the SEC in the face and to make it. And for Coach Phillips to give him an opportunity to get on and get a scholarship, really cheering for him to lead that group. Raymond Sanders is no slouch. I think he gives a dimension. Today's football, you can go running back by committee. 10 years ago, it wasn't that way.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Coach Williams as well. And that you mentioned Raymond Sanders. There's also talked about Mobley, Taylor, Clemens if he gets healthy. Right. That group of running backs, how good is that group? And how, Joker says he wants to pass the ball this year, but that running game is going to be critical. How much of the load can that group of running backs carry?
Well, it's not about how much of the load as it is when that time comes. If we're relying on Maxwell Smith in 3rd and 13 to bail us out, he's not there yet. So it's going to be critical that you're able to establish the run, especially in early downs, to keep that 3rd and manageable. You start talking about 3rd and 13, 3rd and 10, it can get ugly real fast. So those running backs also, when the game is on the line, when Joker doesn't want to punt and you're at what we call those mid distances when you're in between the 40s and you don't really want to punt but you're out of field goal range, the ground game by committee is what can get you out of that. And I don't know which one of those runners, barring injury of course, is going to be available to do that for us.
You got it back to the offensive line we talked a couple days ago. Back to those big guys up front. The tight ends, kind of the big guys up front sometimes in UK's offense, they want them to catch more passes. They haven't really had a tight end threat in the last couple of years. Tyler Robinson's shown some flashes.
That's the one.
Ronnie Shields can do it, but you're a Tyler Robinson guy, right?
I came away from the spring saying that young man will lead this team in receptions next year.
Really?
I don't know where he was last year, But in the spring, I said, wow, I had a chance to watch with another former tight end, played 12 years in the NFL, and we saw the same thing. We were sitting on opposite ends of Commonwealth Stadium during the spring game, and we met up at the 50. I said, what'd you see? He said, did you see 89? I said, absolutely. That was one of my notes. So I like what Miller showed me. I like what Shields showed me. I think by committee, they can do some things to make life so much easier for Max. Quarterback's best friend, other than a good defense, is a tight end and throwing some of those screen and check down passes, especially as a young player. I think they'll be a critical piece of the offense.
If they progress, and we talk about if Tyler Robinson can be that guy, step up, lead the team in receptions, you get one or two other receivers can be threats, maybe Aaron Boyd, the running backs. How good overall can this offense be? They were bad, very bad last year. Won't take a lot for improvement, but how good can they be?
I think it's unrealistic if someone's asking this offense to go out there and score 35 points. They're not that group. I think this is a group that has to work in conjunction with the defense. Offense, a lot of times, doesn't have to help a defense, just don't put us in a bad spot. So when you talk about the sacks, when you talk about the interceptions, when you talk about the fumbles, and they're coming at critical points in the game, no defense can stay out there that long and do that. But I think you talk about an offense being able to go put 14, 17 points on the board. I think that's reasonable in the Southeastern Conference, and then that puts the pendulum back on the defense to keep some of those 30s and 40s that the SEC can put up off the scoreboard.
Before we let you go, real quick, what are you looking most forward to the game against Louisville?
It's in the trenches for me. Louisville returns 9 on defense. We've had struggles on the offensive line. The strength of our unit is the defensive line going against their relatively experienced offensive line. It's going to come down to the trenches. Last year's game, UK gave up 181 yards on the ground. We only managed 35. I think that should be reversed.
Don't want to be in that locker room when Rick Minter comes through there. I've seen him after the game. It's not a guy who'd be around.
Scary dude.
Scary dude. Thank you for being here, Stan.